Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. I'm on something of a second honeymoon in France, so I'm recording this a day earlier than I normally do. If anything interesting has happened since I've gotten on a plane, I assure you I do not care and will not care until next week. It's future Corey's problem, the best kind. Now let's see what AWS came up to before I skitter off to avoid consequences. This episode is sponsored in part by my day job, the Duckbill Group. Do you have a horrifying AWS bill? That can mean a lot of things. Predicting what it's going to be, determining what it should be, negotiating your next long-term contract with AWS, or just figuring out why it increasingly resembles a phone number, but nobody seems to quite know why that is. To learn more, visit duckbillgroup.com. Remember, you can't duck the duckbill bill. And my CEO informs me that is absolutely not our slogan. Amazon disrupts watering hole campaign by Russia's APT-29. Amazon CISO CJ Moses demonstrates that it's not just possible to lead a horse to water, but also to drown one if you work hard enough at it. AWS IAM launches new VPC endpoint condition keys for network perimeter controls. Finally, the IAM team takes a break from enforcing access permissions for account colors, not a joke, saw it last week, to give us a straightforward way to force traffic to use VPC endpoints. This is a compliance win. Good job. Choosing the right AWS live streaming solution for your use case. Now, you're going to have to do some remarkably heavy lifting to convince me that the right solution for most streaming use cases is AWS at all. And the reason comes squarely down to data egress fees. Yes, I know you can negotiate significant discounts on data transfer rates, but those come in return for commitments that you may or may not be willing to make. Back of the envelope math doesn't get you there. RDS Data API now supports IPv6, and I keep forgetting that the RDS Data API exists distinctly from the RDS proxy. Why? Nobody knows. Now open, AWS Asia Pacific New Zealand region. This is exciting news for the folks who started mandating data residency laws as a shakedown of the hyperscalers. Your project worked. AWS Resource Explorer is now available in the AWS Asia Pacific Taipei region. And so long as entire regions aren't available in Resource Explorer, it's forever going to take a back seat to using the AWS bill as the authoritative source of truth for what's running in your account. After all, if AWS isn't billing you for it, it doesn't really exist. This episode is sponsored by my own company, the Duckbill Group. Having trouble with your AWS bill? Perhaps it's time to renegotiate a contract with them. Maybe you're just wondering how to predict what's going on in the wide world of AWS. Well, that's where the Duckbill Group comes in to help. Remember, you can't duck the Duckbill bill, which I am reliably informed by my business partner is absolutely not our motto. Protect your Amazon Route 53 DNS zones and records. Well, yes, you do need to ensure that your databases are locked down properly. That said, it's more than a bit nutty that you've got to implement special lambdas to back up Route 53 zones rather than the established methods by which all other DNS servers achieve these things. You know, IXFR, or more realistically, AXFR. But no, Route 53 just has to be precious like that. Efficiently verify Amazon S3 data at scale with compute checksum operation. Yes, for extensive amounts of money, it's now possible to determine whether A3 has eaten your data at scale. AWS Elemental celebrates 10 years of innovation. Sure seems to me that a lot of this innovation is iterative improvements, the incremental addition of small improvements over time. That's valid and it's fair, but it's not innovation. Not in any meaningful sense. Yeah, well, we listen to customers to do this. Sure. But if you didn't, they'd leave you for vendors who do. Every company, to some degree, is beholden to the desires of its customers. You're not special for that. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. Stay salty. I know I will.